The views expressed in this video are that of a hobbyist, not of a business owner or a commercial operation. Clear as mud?
Hey there, it's me again. Yeah, the bald guy. The half-blind bald guy. About a week ago, a friend posted a video on YouTube basically saying that DIY aquaponics is dead, and went on to point out just a lot of problems that apparently he had. And I posted a comment on that video saying that, you know, none of that stuff applied to me. And next thing you know, people are hitting my channel questioning me, and then I saw other comments on his video where people were actually just embracing it. Basically what it comes down to is that DIY aquaponics systems just aren't pretty, and you aren't going to impress too many girls if they come over to look at it. In my case, I've never had a single person come over and ridicule my setup or say that it wasn't pretty. I've actually had some females come over here, like the 3 girls that helped put the concrete in there, wanted to decorate the greenhouse. So I'm just going to point out a few things here with my system, why I think that, you know, the whole concept of or DIY aquaponics systems being dead, I have to call bullshit on it. It's not true. Be careful what you buy into, people. Not saying anything bad about the guy that posted the video. He seems like a nice enough person. I like watching his videos because he kind of reminds me of a very emotional Baptist minister in a sense. So I get a kick out of his videos. But the last one I can't agree with, and this is for the people that have come to my channel since I posted that comment over there, and I'm going to point out a few things. So hang on. This might get ugly. So in regards to supposedly not being able to achieve adequate filtration without spending $800 to $2,000 or more on one of those commercial bead filters, I have to call bullshit on that, because this filter right here, this is the only one in my entire system built on a 30-gallon plastic drum that's converted to a radial flow filter. So as you can see, the water comes out of the sump into that bottom fitting, and then whoops, the water comes up there in the middle, flows back down, and then before the water can actually exit over here, which is connected to that fitting, returning to the pump, all of the water passes through bio beads, K2 biomedia. And there's a simple air stone that goes about halfway down in there. So either way, the solids come up, go down, heaviest ones settle on the bottom, the smaller ones get trapped in these bio beads, and you flush out the filter once a month or whenever things start getting really hideous in there. And as I can see, I'm getting pretty close to it. But we'll show you how clear is the water. Well, looky there. You can actually see all the way down to the bottom. Let's see on the other tank, or other tanks. Why, looky there. Water's perfectly clear. So a simple 30-gallon combination radial flow and bead filter. This is a 30-gallon filter running an entire 800-gallon aquaponics system. So I have to call bullshit on that theory. You do not need to absolutely buy one of those overpriced filters to achieve adequate filtration. I've never had anybody come over and say, oh, that's hideous because it's a plastic drum. No, not a single person has ever said that. So be careful what you buy into. Moving on to the next item in the list. Okay, back to this DIY is dead stuff. As you can see, we have another 30-gallon barrel there. Now, this little heating setup for my aquaponics system has never failed. Not once. But it's pretty much DIY, other than the fact I bought this pellet stove used for $100 because it was supposedly dead due to having a bad main board in it. Nope, it was actually just a upper auger motor that needed replaced. It worked perfectly fine, just needed cleaned out. But that little pipe going through there, water is inside of that pipe, not the fish tank water, water from that barrel. It sits there and it boils, and my little Raspberry Pi computer, which is a hack job, and this temperature controller runs the pellet stove, as well as my evaporative cooling, my built-in custom swamp coolers and all that. But I have never once had somebody say that this is, good God, hideous, and it's DIY. It couldn't possibly work. Well, yeah, it does, you know. That pump down there pumps water into that pipe in the middle of the pellet stove. When it gets up to 150 degrees, that temperature controller there turns on the pump and it sends that slug of boiling hot water around here and into that stainless steel coil in the bottom of the fish tank. Heats the water perfectly fine, but it's DIY, and I don't have people ridiculing it, and it's never failed. So once again, I have to call bullshit on the whole DIY is dead thing. No, it's not dead. The only thing that's really hideous over here I can see is my electrical system, which I have not gotten around to putting in a permanent system. Hopefully I can pull that off sometime before summer shows up again. But no, I don't think DIY is dead. So, like I said, be careful what you buy into. Moving on to the next item in the list. Here we have another DIY project. Yes, it's really DIY. I've had umpteen people come over here to look at this system, and they all ask me where I bought it. Well, as you know, if you're following this channel, I didn't buy it. I built it. These are all 3D printed. And, oh yeah, for the other people that were asking me if can't you grow anything mature sized? Well, yeah, it just takes time. Yes, a lot of those are starter plants, but yeah, those are going to be harvested in another 2 weeks. So yes, I can grow full-size plants. But either way, yes, this is a DIY project as well. Now, I didn't grow the trees for the lumber or make the metal or the PVC or anything else, but everything else is DIY. Now, compare this to a manufactured product, which are these NFT rails over here. Now, you might as well call these DIY because they show up in, good grief, so many pieces that you have to glue together. But see how limited your output can possibly be from this little system. I mean, there's 36 plants in an area that's 4 feet wide by about 18 inches deep. 36 plants, really? Those 2 towers, just those 2, are, I mean, that's 30 plants. So I don't see a whole lot of anything really bad about DIY. These things, I mean, I built all 16 towers for this rack for what? And that includes buying 3D printers and the filament to actually print these. So I built 16 towers for about half the price of what those Zip Grow towers go for in, you know, when you buy a bundle of 8. And then the rack that they hang on, yes, that's DIY as well. I don't think I have any more than $100 in that rack. So the most it actually cost me was my time. So again, I have to call bullshit on the whole DIY is dead thing, because this, yeah, you may know that this is DIY, but the majority of people that come over here have no earthly idea. They think it's purchased. So as far as DIY being hideous and non-functional and just not worth it, well, honestly, this was well worth the DIY part, instead of buying somebody else's commercial manufactured product, patented and all that. Screw that. Nope, I have to call bullshit on that. DIY is better. Moving on to the next item. Okay, for the next thing, one of the points that was made to me was that, you know, chopped IBC tanks are hideous. And, well, yeah, they may be just a little bit ugly, but I've never had anybody come over here and look at these and go, oh God, that's just butt ugly. Ugh. You know, when you can get something like this for free and it's functional, I don't see why somebody would rag on IBC tanks. They're commonly used in aquaponics all the time. These were a whole lot easier for me to set up than building raised beds and putting some kind of a pond liner in the bottom in order to have a reservoir, so they're a self-watering planter. But honestly, I don't see what is so hideous about these. I'm actually more concerned with functionality. I get so much food out of these things that I honestly don't care what they look like. The functionality is the important part. So I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I am. I'm calling bullshit on DIY being dead again. No, it's not. Not everybody has deep pockets and can afford to just go buy everything commercially made. I could certainly afford to go buy stuff commercially made, but why would I want to? I mean, you spend all of that money and then you're stuck waiting for years upon years to recover your investment. So no, commercial made just for the sake of being pretty and impressing your friends, that is not the best way to go. I mean, if that's what you want to do, if your only goal in life is to impress others with how much money you spend, good, but not in my case. So, moving on to the next item. Okay, for my final item in the list here, calling bullshit on DIY being dead, one of the points made in that video is that, you know, building a greenhouse or a hoop house, whatever, out of PVC is pointless because, well, supposedly the PVC is weak and won't stand up to anything, and Then if your film comes in contact with your PVC, now this part is true, there is a chemical reaction that will rot your film. But as you can see in mine, there's felt tape there between the film and the PVC. Now, that stops that problem. Whoops. But as far as the PVC being weak and can't stand up to anything, now I didn't use traditional PVC that you use for plumbing in your house. This is PVC conduit, so it does not break down under UV light. Not only is the PVC glued together, but it's bolted together. You can see every time there's a cross member someplace, it's bolted. Yes, they are also glued together as well. But I keep it warm in here all the time. Like even right now, it's cloudy out. We're going to have a whole bunch of snow here coming starting tonight. But since I keep it warm in here, my PVC is always flexible. All right? It stands up to wind. Good grief. This thing has been exposed to like 65 to 70 mile per hour gusts of wind. Just wicked storms. I don't have any problems. It's never broken anywhere. My film stands up to hail just fine. The only problem I've had with it is there's a hole, or a couple holes right there, because during a storm it picked up a branch and threw that at the greenhouse and it went completely through. But other than that, the greenhouse stands up to hail, it stands up to wind. I didn't spend a whole lot to build it. The whole structure itself, which included the landscape fabric that's on the ground, all of the lumber, the doors, PVC, everything, was $2,300. And that's for a 51 by 18 foot greenhouse that's 9 foot tall at the peak. And I think with everything that I've actually got in here, oh, I forgot to include the exhaust fans. That was included in the $2,300. But everything that I have in here, you know, the towers, all of this stuff, I would seriously be surprised if I have $5,000 invested in everything. Yes, I could have bought a kit and spent a whole lot more, probably close to $12,000 just for the greenhouse itself. But you know, if you put enough time into researching things before you actually build something, you'll make fewer mistakes. You go look at what other people have done and you take the best ideas from what you've seen other people do, combine those together, and you come up with an even better plan yourself. That's what I did. And not once has anybody come over here and said, "Ooh, God, that's ugly. That's hideous." Well, I guess if there are people spreading rumors like that, they must have some awfully shallow friends. But even on the outside here, you know, it doesn't look hideous on the outside. So, again, I have to call bullshit. DIY is not dead. I think the only thing that might be possibly dead is some people's bank accounts from overspending to do not a whole lot other than impress their friends. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to wrap things up, say hi to the beagles, and I will catch you the next time around. But again, be careful what you buy into, people.